Coming this summer, a book that the critics are calling gripping, terrifying. I never saw the twist coming. The Man in the Apartment with a Window. The second book in the gripping suspense theories comes The Man on the Chair. The third thrilling book in the series, The Man on the Toilet.
Oh, come on! What's shaking, BookTube? My name's Cam and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing another writing tip video. This is another writing cliches to avoid video. Let's see, what have we done? We've done fantasy, we've done romance, and we've done sci-fi. What's next? Mystery thriller. Mystery thriller books are all the rage at the moment, especially in the book-to-movie adaptation platform. So why don't we tackle that genre as well? Why don't we look at some of the cliches that you might want to avoid in your writing? Say, roll the intro.
Dominion of all known realms will be mine.
In these writing cliches to avoid videos, what I do is I point out 5 cliches that the internet as a whole collectively feels is too overused in the certain genre that I'm speaking about. Of course, these aren't necessarily bad things. In fact, the reason they become cliches is because they're quite popular, so don't freak out if some of these are similar to your writing. The whole point of these videos actually is just so that you're aware that these are tropes and that you can, when you're implementing these plot devices, you can maybe just either look at alternatives or look at ways of putting your own personal spin on that trope. Just don't freak out. Cliches aren't a taboo by any means, it's just something that you want to play around with a bit more than other plot devices. That's all. Writing cliche to avoid number 1, the title. When I say mystery thriller, I'm sure you're already aware of what I'm talking about. The title that, at least recently, has become overly popular, and that is the character in the place. And the place is usually a vantage point. The woman in the window, the girl on the train, you know what I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I get why this type of title is popular among mystery and thriller because it's a mysterious title. When you say, let's say, the woman in the window, it's mysterious. Who is the woman? What did she see? You instantly know that the title alludes to she saw something through the window, so you're wondering, what did she see? It's intrigue, it's mystery, that's the point. It's also not the only way to have a mysterious title though, and at the point it is now, where it's getting used so much, maybe you want to explore some different options. When it comes to mystery and thriller, you just want to come up with a title that is leaving a question with the reader. For example, I don't know. The Seventh Day. Not my best work, but you get the point. With a title like The Seventh Day, you're wondering, the seventh day of what? What happens on the 7th day? The reader's asking questions, and that's the hook. Next up is a trope I have mentioned in another cliches video I think I did, but it's the washed up alcoholic detective that has usually lost a partner, whether that be a work partner or a life partner. It might even take the form of they were retired and they're coming back for one last job, but one thing is always the same, and it's that the detective is an alcoholic, they live in a dingy apartment, they don't seem to give a shit about anything. They're washed up, and it's always because of some traumatic event in their past. And it's kind of funny because that detective, although they're at the lowest they've ever been, they're far from at their peak, they always seem to identify things that totally competent cops or police do not. That's kind of another whole cliche in itself, that the side police and the other police officers in these mystery novels are complete idiots. But anyway, what I'm saying is the detective will notice, usually around a murder, they'll notice that the conclusion that the police come to of how the person died is not actually true because of one little clue that somehow everyone else missed. And they'll usually do this while they're pissed off their tits. I have to admit, this is kind of my guilty pleasure cliche because I kind of love those characters, but alas, it's a trope nonetheless. In fact, this is probably the most used trope in this whole list I'm going through. Cliche number 3, with mystery novels, of course, you need to have a twist. That is always a given. And everyone knows that going into a mystery novel, so the whole time the reader is going to be trying to guess what that twist is going to be. And god damn, are they going to be disappointed if the twist is simply that the good guy was the bad guy. I don't mean the protagonist, it's usually a side character or a suspect that they dismissed at the very start of the story, but it's someone who has been helping with the investigation that at the end, surprise, does a Kaiser Sose and is the bad guy. This isn't a cliche that you can absolutely not use, but for God's sake, try to make it clever. Come up with ways that completely eliminate the suspicion that this person could be the bad guy. Because believe me, every good character is going to be under scrutiny from the reader through the whole story. Because this is such a cliche, we as readers, when we read mystery and thriller, we tend to question every good character. Are they really the bad guy? This is just, how it is. That's the thing with mystery and thriller. I truly appreciate a good mystery book because I think it is one of the most difficult genres to write. It really is. Pulling off a good twist or doing something that's unpredictable in a book where people are literally questioning everything is extremely difficult. So if it's done well, the praise will usually go higher than most. Number 4, this one kind of ties in with the first one that I said, and that is the witness. The protagonist is the witness to a crime, and usually it's from some kind of vantage point, e.g. train window. Most times it'll go along the lines of they witness the crime from a spot that they tend to be a voyeur from very regularly. So every day they're looking from this vantage point and it's monotonous, nothing ever happens except for this one time they see a crime. They can't stop thinking about it, they're not entirely sure they saw what they saw, so then they go and do a little investigating of their own. And everything seems to be fine, but boom, the bad guy noticed that they were a witness. And now they're the target, now the danger sets in. Blah blah blah, we've seen it. This kind of mystery is quite popular right now. I think it's just past its peak, only just. So it is still kind of popular, but it's definitely phasing out. Last but not least, cliche number 5, they got away. It's after the climax of this story, the villain has been defeated, the hero is victorious, and the villain, or the bad guy, is on the ground, either dead or unconscious. Incidentally, this is the exact moment that the other police officers turn up. Those bumbling, incompetent dopes. And the hero turns around to tell the police officers what has happened. They turn back to point at the villain and poof, they're gone. Realistically, this is just a way to open the door for a sequel and to leave the reader going, oh, what happened? And I joke, but that's actually perfectly fine. Not this trope itself, I actually think this trope is a bit tacky, but leaving the end of the story in a way that the reader is going to go, wait, what is the perfect way to end a mystery? But there's other ways to do this. Maybe leave some tiny detail at the end, and it always has to be something vague. It can't be a solid, this is how it is fact. It has to be something that leaves them questioning. But if you really want to fuck with the reader in a mystery story, leave something that makes them question what they were already affirmed of earlier. So the hero goes through this whole story investigating something, they reveal the conclusion at the end, they know what happened, and then right at the end of the story, the very end, just leave some tiny little thing that just makes the reader think, wait, is that really what happened? And there shouldn't be an easy yes or no to that. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching another writing tips video. I think we're getting towards the end of this mini-series, this writing cliches to avoid, but of course, leave me a comment below, let me know what genre you want me to cover next. Remember, I've already done fantasy, romance, sci-fi, and now mystery thriller. I mean, I could do horror, I think that kind of goes in with thriller, but then there are some nuances as well. Could do YA, but then YA cliches is a cliche in itself. On BookTube at the moment, that video has been done a billion times. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Catch ya.